The following message might be the most important you'll ever hear in your entire life. And that is, they want you terrified. But I'm not even talking about the governments and the big corporations. Instead, I'm talking about the people in and around your life, in your world. Your friends, your family, your colleagues, certainly your boss, your parents, and maybe even your romantic partner. And the problem there is the more scared you are, the more foolish and naive you are, the more afraid you are, the more susceptible you will be to their bullshit. And if you are sick and tired of bullshit and are leveling yourself up through truth, join my free community, the No Bullshit Society. The link's in the description and pinned comment down below. It's free to join. So let's think about that for a second. When we're scared, and there is no shame in being scared, or afraid, or naive or foolish, that is how you were raised to be. It all started from your family home. You can be in your 50s and 40s and still carry that trauma from your family. Who told you, encouraged you, manipulated you, disciplined you to be a good little boy, a good little girl? They might have not even hurt you and spanked you or raised a finger on you. However, they harmed you internally. They told you that if you did X, Y, Z, you'll be in trouble. That if you follow the rules, everything will be okay. That if you listen to them and do what they say, then nothing will harm you. How naive, how foolish of us to look up to our parents and assume they had the world figured out. When in the harsh, brutal, no bullshit reality here is, forget the world, they didn't even figure themselves out. As you got older and you started to rebel in your teens or early 20s, you started noticing that dad was not Superman. That mum was just another human being. And once you developed the emotional intelligence, you started to notice that maybe their marriage wasn't as beautiful and fruitful as you thought. And then it extended to other people, other authorities in your life, from your teachers to your lecturers, your professors, maybe aunts and uncles, maybe siblings, maybe cousins, and so on. And suddenly that family unit that you naively assumed had your best interest actually groomed you, because they groomed each other. Fear ran deep in the family, in the bloodstream, in their DNA. The fear of the unknown. The fear to stand up to themselves. The fear to question things. You were wired differently naturally. You were gifted awareness. You were certainly gifted empathy, but that was used against you. You wouldn't dare study or choose a degree that would insult your parents, would you? You wouldn't dare get into trouble because you would hate to think of the punishment. And yet you were still punished. And yet you were still the scapegoat. And yet you were referred to as being weird. And yet they called you odd. When all you did was naturally, your gift was to feel, this doesn't seem right. I don't like this. I'm going to question it. But by being rooted in fear, on the punishment of being made to feel ashamed, being told to go to your room, being told that harsh, brutal truth from their perspective that is a lie, that you're never good enough, that no one's ever going to love you, that you're never going to hold down a job, you're never going to accomplish anything in your life. All these things damage your psyche. And without realizing it, when you did step out into that world, made you pray. When you started making friends in school or through work or college, whatever, you attracted people unintentionally, unironically, just like your family. You thought you shared a lot in common, maybe culturally, maybe from a sense of humor, maybe because you're from the same area and so on, but they never truly knew you. Just like them, you were afraid to be yourself. Just like them, you were afraid to say what you really meant. And just like them, you were afraid to stand up for yourself. It's different to stand up to a friend because they can't punish you like a parent could or a family member. However, they punish you in different ways, didn't they? They punish you by gossiping behind your back. They punish you by breaking your heart. They punish you by leaving you intentionally out of things. They punish you by manipulation. They punish you by being the person that always took and never gave anything back. They punish you with envy, not jealousy, hating any success, any growth, any questioning that you had. And that's the scary, sad thing. Imagine you had $1 million idea. Imagine you wanted to make a decision that would change your life for the better. And yet, through the fear of upsetting a passive-aggressive, toxic, rude, narcissistic friend or friendship group, you kept it to yourself. And it died. And that vision died. And that beautiful life that you had, just there waiting for you, was taken away. Instead, you were terrified, treading on eggshells, biting your nails, tiptoeing around them, just so you could feel belong to somebody or a group of people who never had your best interests at heart. And the final evolution goes even worse. You walk into an office, a workspace, a business, a career, just like your family, just like your friendship group. Through fear, you just applied for the first job you could. You just chose a career that someone else chose for you. And there you are, the doormat, being walked all over, working hours on end for little to no pay upgrade. Utterly dissatisfied, miserable, killing yourself on those trains, in those cars, trying to make ends meet, trying to pay your bills, trying to save up enough to finally get a down payment and even move out. But it gets worse. With all of that insecurity, all of that naivety, all of that fear, you gaslight yourself that it's time to settle down. It's time to have a relationship. Maybe you've had the odd fling here and there, and through your desperate need to be liked, through your fear, through your terror, you've either deferred people away, you've either been too kind, too needy, or perhaps you've been aggressive and abusive, giving your all and just demanding the same back and scaring people off by being too intense. But then, like a shark to water, you somehow attract that relationship, that person. You pinch yourself. Finally, I'm in love. Finally, someone's accepted me. I can't believe how easy it is. Finally, I've got it all figured out. And you put a massive middle finger up to the world and to your friends and family. Look who I'm dating. Look who I'm with. I've finally done it. They're into me. And everything's perfect. Until the mask slips there. Until you step out of your family home, living with friends, into a prison of your own making. Into a hell that many people can resonate with. This is not a haven. This is a terrifying place with an unstable, toxic, negative, untrustworthy person who sucks the life out of you, the joy, the positivity, the energy, and makes you the more and the most terrified version of yourself. Why do you think some of the most physically intimidating men turn into mice around certain women? Why do so many outspoken, beautiful women turn into fragile, broken women around certain men? Because their ego and confidence is destroyed and they're terrified. Terrified of the consequences of what this partner's going to do or say. I'm not even talking about physical abuse. The mental gymnastics, the emotional abuse, the gaslighting, the manipulation. And it's not just one moment. It's death by 1,000 paper cuts. By the time you are completely emotionally depleted, broken, and out of energy, right there and then, you are terrified. You hunch over, you look down, you can't make eye contact with anyone or everyone. You're afraid of what they might think, they might say, they might do, and you plod along, distract yourself with alcohol, drugs, Netflix, and so much more. Whenever I work with people through coaching, I always say to them, let's go back to the beginning. Because this happened, but there's a reason why. And sometimes it doesn't happen through childhood, but most of the time it does. You were groomed to be good, polite, respectful, nothing wrong with that. But you were also groomed to be terrified and be a doormat. And you have been encouraged, gaslighted, manipulated to live the life of idiots, to believe their thoughts, to believe their outcomes, to tick the boxes their way, to do what they say, and just conform. This is not about being a rebel. This is not about revolting against the system. This is against revolting against your fear. What's the worst that can happen? They shout, they scream. There's a little bit of transition to begin with. Once you heal, recover, know who you truly are, step into the unknown, the very thing you've avoided your entire life, you realize that it's not too bad. You realize that you're very pleasant company on your own. You realize that you can survive, and it's all bullshit. And if you want to keep leveling up through truth like this, harsh realities, join my community. Over 800 people have done the same. It's called the No Bullshit Society, and the link's in the description and pinned comment down below. So take this as your opportunity to no longer be afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't be a fool. Don't be naive. You've got this. You're going to be okay. And support each other in the comments and when you join the community to show that you're not alone. People have been in your shoes. This is not about conspiracies. This is about your truth. You're a brave, strong, beautiful person. You were manipulated to be afraid. How do I know this? I've been there, seen it, done it myself. If I and many others can come out the other side, why can't you?